Hello, I'm Richard Hunter and welcome to our look ahead for the week commencing the 22nd of July. We're now very much in full swing in terms of the reporting season on both sides of the pond. In terms of the US, for example, we've now heard from most of the banks. That's been a fairly mixed bag, tending towards positive. And of course, on the technology front, we've had some mixed news there as well. Netflix disappointed investors earlier in the week, whereas the likes of Microsoft in particular and IBM pretty much shot the lights out. So moving to next week, another busy week in prospect. In terms of the Eurozone, the ECB will be meeting, and it's largely expected they may be announcing some easing policies to take effect in September. In terms of the UK, we've got numbers coming up from the likes of ITV. The things to look out for there are usually how the studios have been performing as they lessen their reliance on advertising income. They've recently also, of course, announced that tie-up with the BBC in terms of the new launch of BritBox, which is seen as something of a Netflix light and certainly the first of its kind in the UK. We're also expecting a trading statement from Vodafone later in the week. Obviously, they've recently had to cut their dividend, but on the plus side, they have had the European nod for their tie-up with Liberty Global. And there's also updates coming along next week in the UK from Glaxo, Unilever and Diageo. In terms of the States, it really is in full swing. Quite apart from the stocks we've been looking at this week, there's some really big names which will be reporting next week, such as Coca-Cola, Facebook, Ford, Amazon, Google, Starbucks, McDonald's and Twitter. And amongst all this noise, and with hopes of a US Fed rate cut still very much high, in fact some even now suggesting it may be 0.5%, as opposed to the previously anticipated 0.25% when they meet at the end of July, markets are also holding up particularly well. In the year to date, the S&P 500 is up 19.5%, the Dow Jones up 17%, and the Nasdaq up 24%, whereas on this side of the pond, our own FTSE 100 is also making a decent contribution and is up 12% in the year to date. Thank you for watching. Have a great week.